Alright, so hi guys. So I know I am uploading this video like a day late from the uploading schedule, but school keeps me busy and other things have kept me busy, and I was very busy yesterday, so I figure as long as I upload a video on the weekend and not like a week after I was supposed to upload it, it's fine. Like a day or two. Well, a day is fine. Because mostly my uploading schedule is usually day after Friday, so Saturday, but I figure if I upload it Sunday, it's okay because you know the frickety frack what, that's like a day late and it's still the weekend and nobody, well, as it stands, nobody keeps up to date with my schedule enough to really care if I'm a day late. Cause I only have like 1,000 followers. That might seem like a lot to you guys, and I do appreciate every single one of you deeply, and I think it is a lot, and I never thought I would get that many, but I want to be real. I don't feel like a lot of them are active because the amount of followers I have, which is 1,000, compared to the amount of views I get on average for a video, which is only like 13 or 14, doesn't really add up. So a lot of the people who follow me aren't active, and most of them just followed me for that one video about OCs that I privated. So yeah. I will be real about that. I know some people are active, but most of the super active people are people who are super active and are friends, or people from my Instagram, or people who have always been super nice to me and super active from the start and have always left nice comments and stuff like that. And I appreciate them the most. So yeah. And I mean, if you're active a lot, then I appreciate you a lot. So yeah. So anyways, in this video, sorry for voice crack. It's kind of early in the morning, but in this video, I always have voice crack in my videos though. So anyways, in this video, as I've said like 3 times already, I am drawing Gravityfalls fan art because all summer basically I've kind of had a concept to draw like Dipper and Bill, and the idea was Bill was kind of like spooking or freaking out Dipper in like a dark room or a dark place, which is why the background is, well, you'll see at the end the background is like an ink wash because it's supposed to be like dark background and like it's supposed to be like a spooky picture where Bill is like spooking Dipper, I'll say, or scaring the shit out of Dipper. And yeah, so I really like how I drew and colored Dipper in this piece, but I feel like the background is kind of lack because the background is very messily colored, and I feel like the bills could have been a little bit better. Not a lot better, but a little bit better, maybe. Sorry. But anyways, yeah, this was one of the pieces that I started inking and I was like, not inking, I started sketching and I was like so excited to finish. But then by the end of the week, which was Friday, when I live streamed myself finishing this piece, I noticed that I no longer had as much motivation to finish it as I did on Monday. And again, I know I say this a lot in videos, but this was just another one of those pieces that I didn't want to finish, but I pulled myself to finish anyway, and I'm going to continuously say this until the day I die, but I think that is a good skill that you can have, is to force yourself to finish art when you don't want to. Because I force myself to finish art when I don't want to, like whether it be just sketches that I don't want to finish because they're not coming out good, or fully finished pieces that I don't want to finish because they're not coming out good, but I finish anyway, or I lost the motivation to finish them, or I just don't no longer feel excited to work on it, I will make myself work on it anyway. And I do this because I feel like if I don't, then I will eventually spiral into art block. Like if I tell myself now, oh, I don't have to finish this piece, it's fine, it's only art. Oh, I can draw something else. Oh, it's fine, I don't have to finish this. Oh, that concept sucks. Oh, this art piece sucks. Why should I finish it? Blah blah blah. If I tell myself that now, I'll have so many unfinished pieces that I'll just feel like it's okay to not finish art, which will then make me feel like it's okay to not do art for a while if I don't want to. And then I'll get in the terrible habit of never doing art or going through art blocks and not doing art for a month or something because I'm telling myself that it's okay and I'm treating it like it doesn't matter if I finish it or not. And me personally, I think it does matter if you finish artwork or if you do art or not, because the longer you go from doing art, the less you're going to improve. Like if you keep looking at your art and telling yourself that it's shit, then you have to think, why is it shit? Do I draw every day? Do I draw every week? Do I draw once a month? If you say you draw once a month, then maybe that's already your answer. That is why your art is shit and your art does not look as good as somebody who draws every day. Or maybe you just draw every day and your art still doesn't look good. Well, maybe you've only been drawing every day for a short amount of time and you haven't, and of course, improvement isn't going to happen overnight. Like, you could draw every day for a week, but that doesn't mean your art's going to get better that quick. But if you drew every day for a year, you might find that your art from the beginning of the year to the end of the year looks so much better that you've almost, in due course, scared yourself and the people who follow you. Like, that's what happened to me. I started drawing every day last year, or around every day, just about. Roughly every day last year for a year. And I look at my art from the beginning of last year to the end of last year, and both me and some of my internet friends are actually scared by the improvement of how good I got in just a year. Even in just one sketchbook, where I think I drew every day for the sketchbook, from the beginning of the sketchbook to the end of the sketchbook, the art is so much better that it's like, what? This is only like a 3 month. I had that sketchbook for like 3 months, I think. Roughly around the amount of summer. So I had that sketchbook for most of the summer, and the art in the beginning of the sketchbook and the end of the sketchbook, the art in the end of the sketchbook was so much better than the beginning of the sketchbook that it was like I only had the sketchbook for the time period of the summer, and it's that good. Like, and the improvement is that much. Like, what even is the logic in that? And so, yeah, clearly drawing a lot is going to make your art better. So if you're ever in an artistic slump or block because you think your art isn't good enough or whatever reason, you just, well, I personally feel, and I know some people are going to shit at me in the comments for saying this, but I think you just need to fucking keep drawing. Like, I didn't mean to swear there, but I swore anyway. Sorry, because I don't know. Excuse that. But I just think you need to keep drawing because you can't just keep, like, not drawing because then you're never going to improve. And if you think, oh, I've been improving, I can stop drawing, you're going to forget all that improvement if you stop drawing for periods of time. And that is why I think personally, and I always say this, it is so important to have the skill to keep drawing even when you don't want to, and to force yourself to finish things. And even sometimes force yourself to use concepts even if you don't want to. Like, if you keep having the idea in your head of drawing a horse with a human head and that farts rainbows, but you keep telling yourself that that's a bad idea or that you could never draw that, make yourself draw that anyway. And even if it comes out bad, tell yourself you've never drawn something like that before and it was just an idea. And put it in your sketchbook, and then you can throw it somewhere else when you're done. And never look at it again if you want. Because, I mean, it's not like your art's going in a museum. Just draw, and eventually, yeah. And even if you can't bring yourself to the motivation to draw, you can take a little bit of a break. But then, maybe you feel like you're really bored and you have nothing to do. Then that's a good sign that you should probably draw because you have nothing else to do with your life, I'll say. So yeah. And sometimes it's hard for you to start drawing, but you just have to push through that little block, and then after like 3 or 4 sketches, you'll get really in the groove and want to draw, even if you think you don't want to draw at all. You can, yeah. Essentially, just like don't make excuses for yourself as to why you shouldn't draw, because part of the reason you have those problems and excuses with your art is because you're not drawing enough. It's like, oh, my art is bad. Oh, I don't feel like drawing. Oh, I don't want to finish this. Oh, it's shit. Oh, blah, blah, blah. But all of that is tied into, but all of the reasons for that is because you don't draw enough, because you don't do art enough, because you don't practice it enough. Yet at the same time, you're telling yourself that you don't want to draw at all because of these reasons, when the solution to the problem, at least that I've come to figure out after actually drawing like almost every day for 2 years, well, a year, well, basically drawing almost every day for all of 2017, I found that the solution to those problems is to literally draw more, yet you're telling yourself you're not going to draw more because of these problems, yet the solution is to draw more. You're literally telling yourself you're not going to solve the problems. So, Anyway, though, the idea behind this piece, on a completely unrelated note, I went on a rant, but oh well, I don't get to talk about that stuff enough to justify. Anyways, the idea behind this was just that Bill is supposed to be scaring the shit out of Dipper for one reason or another, and the real Bill is supposed to be behind Dipper, but then Bill, like, made, like, holographic copies of himself that are standing next to Dipper, so essentially if Dipper were to touch the two Bills standing next to him on the left and right side, they would, like, poof, because they're not the real Bill, they're only, like, holograms. Like how some villains will make, like, holograms of themselves circling around someone, and then that person will have to determine who the real villain is, we'll say, and not just a fake hologram. You know, that trope in movies that always happens. That's essentially what Bill's doing in this drawing, which is why at the end of the piece, you'll see that I went over Bill in like a wash of, I'll say a wash of blue, so that he looked more holographic. And I don't know why the video went to black here for a second. Alright, so whatever. There's just like a period for like a minute maybe where the screen goes black. Oh, who even gives a crap? I don't really give a crap. Yeah, you can tell in this video I don't give a crap what I say because I'm kind of tired of telling myself that, oh, I shouldn't say this or that because it's the internet. Because as long as it's not like offensive to as long as it's not like what I say, as long as it's not super offensive or super mean or something that definitely I wouldn't want someone to say to me, I really don't care if I say it, so long as it's not actually mean or offensive. It might be something you don't want to hear, but that doesn't mean it's mean or offensive, to be realistic. Kind of like Holly Brown. Everything she says is things that people don't want to hear, yet it's not offensive because it's not specifically being an asshole to one specific person or thing. Kind of like that, to be real. And in any event, I'm not Holly Brown, so don't even compare myself to Holly Brown, because I'm not. But in any event, yeah, so the idea behind this was basically that Bill is a hologram or whatever. Like, he made two holograms of himself, and they're, like, scaring Dipper. And Dipper doesn't notice that the real Bill is standing right behind him. You can kind of see him peeping out from Dipper's shirt or whatever. Dipper doesn't notice that. And yeah, you'll see my sketchbook here because I was live streaming some of this. So I was showing people some Nixon art that I did roughly around like 3 or 4 days ago. I was showing people Nixon art I did from 3 or 4 days ago that I drew on the bus actually. So I was showing people that, and yeah, well, I drew it, some of it I drew like the night before and some of it I drew on the bus. And I was showing people that in the live stream because everybody always comes to my live streams and wants La Nixon and La Thixon. And if I don't give them La Nixon or La Thixon, they just start talking about, like, I don't even know. Mostly they either talk about that or they talk about, like fandoms and stuff like that. Or they make memes. And when we're not making memes, talking about fandoms or La Thixon and La Nixon, occasionally we talk about some of my other OCs, and also occasionally we talk about just LGBT stuff in general. I think the LGBT topic randomly comes up quite a bit in the live streams because Olsen and Nick are LGBT, so then a whole conversation about that always somehow starts. And also music. There are always conversations about music because I legit listen to the weirdest songs on those live streams without regrets. Because I'm one of those people that likes to listen to music that most people wouldn't even know existed unless I played it for them. Because most people listen to trendy stuff, and I'm here listening to the weird contemporary stuff you didn't think existed, or you didn't think I knew existed in your lifetime. And yeah, so yeah, that's actually like pretty much describes our live streams. I can't remember a topic we've talked about that hasn't been those things. Maybe a few times I've talked about my life and stuff, and that's it. Wow, my live streams are so exciting. They're literally only like, what, 5 or 6 topics we ever talk about in every live stream. Wow! No wonder why nobody comes to our live streams. My live streams, they're so fucking predictable. Anyway, I don't really like how I did the inking for this drawing. I feel like the inking in this drawing was very messy and very cheaply done, so excuse me for my cheap inking. I'm a very cheap person, as you probably already can't tell. So yeah, I'm sorry that my inking is legit crap in this. I need to work on inking. Like, the 3 things I need to work on the most with my art is, and I know this, even though I sometimes put this off, because it's a very hard thing for me to work on, and sometimes I put this off. But what I need to work on with my art is inking or outlining, and I also need to work on figures, like body figures, proportions, all that stuff. I will never not need to work on proportions, like, let me just be real with you. That will never not be something I need to work on. And also, lastly, I need to work on same face syndrome. I am slowly but surely working on same face syndrome. Like, every now and again, I will work on trying to make my OCs have different facial features from another OC. But it is a very hard thing to do, especially when I cannot find the references I want online for the facial features I have in mind for a character. Most of the references I find when I look up different facial features online for characters, like males, women, or something, like body shapes, face shapes, and facial features, are not really the ones that I want for the character, yet I don't really know what kind of like face shape or eye shape or anything like that I really want for my characters, because I've always just been drawing on with the same faces and shapes, because same face syndrome, hardy, hardy, hardy. I've always just had that, so it's hard for me to determine how I want them to look if I was to draw them without that same face syndrome. Ha ha ha. And so yeah, that's why it's taking me a while for that, because there are so many decisions I have to make, and then I have to get used to making those decisions and like just being like, okay, my character looks like this now because this is how I have to draw this character, and then get used to that as well, which I think will also help improve my art. So yeah, slowly but surely I'm working on that. I think I kind of have a good idea for how I want Nick to look, and yeah. It's basically just like a little bit of a redesign of my characters, only slightly though. But only slightly. So it's not like really noticeable, but in the end result, it probably will be noticeable because all my characters will look different from one another. But that might take like 2 years to do because I'm doing it slowly. Like, I'm not just gonna do it for 10 characters in a day. I feel like I need to do it slowly so I can handle it, because I won't be able to handle it if all my characters look different all at once. That's too much for me. And yeah, you'll see my Chromebook. I pulled that out here. I don't know the video thing. Yeah. Looks like the video thing is paused, but it's not. Anyways, I pulled out my Chromebook here because I realized that I had a Chromebook that our school gave us, and I could play music on that during the live streams, because I was, for a while, not able to play music because I was already using my iPad to film the speed paint and my phone to film the live stream, which are the only two available devices with music on them I had. Then I remembered I had a Chromebook and I could play music from YouTube on that, and that's what I was doing. Anyways, like I said earlier, I really like how I drew and colored Dipper in this drawing. I love that to bits and pieces. Like, I am actually proud of that. But then the Bills just kind of seem lame in comparison. But I think how I drew Dipper in this is really good, and I should draw Dipper more like that. Like, he has like small legs, and I feel like I should have made his arms a little skinnier, because I feel like Dipper is on like the skinny side of things. Like, he has like skinny, noodly body parts. To quote Dipper, he has noodle arms, so he's quite the skinny boy. So I feel like I should have drawn him more like that, yeah. And I drew Dipper in my own style, not in the Gravityfalls style, because I cannot draw the Gravityfalls style to save my life. And we know that if we have seen my frickin' art style challenge video, because I couldn't really draw the Gravityfalls style in that. So yeah. And yeah, this is almost the end of the video, but you'll see here the background that I was talking about in this one. I think the background came out quite messy in some parts. You'll see me making the little ink wash. Yeah, the background came out a little messy in some parts. I'd like to work with more ink washes though in the future, like especially for Inktober maybe, because I will be taking part in Inktober. Hopefully I'll be able to get out my lazy butt and do that the whole month of October, because that's been my goal, to draw every day for a drawing challenge, and like complete a drawing challenge where you have to draw every day for a whole month completely. And maybe I'll do a video about that as well. And yeah, but that's the end of the video. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And comment if you still care about Gravity Falls, because it's sad how nobody cares about Gravity Falls anymore now that it's over. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and comment about Gravity Falls. Bye guys!